Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So today we're reading through Qimat al-Zamani inda al-Ulama. So we are discussing Qimat al-Zamani inda al-Ulama, how the ulama, how they value their time and how much effort they put into trying to acquiring knowledge. So Abu Hilal al-Askari rahimahullah, he says in his book Al-Hathu ala talab al-ilmi wal-ijtihadi fi jam'ihi. He says that regarding Tha'lab. Tha'lab was a very great lughawi, a very great linguist. So he says, he narrated that أنه كان لا يفارقه كتاب يدرسه. He would never ever see him without a book. He would always be reading a book. So much so, like I said, you don't have to follow everything word for word, but they take the principles from this. He says that إذا دعاه رجل إلى دعوة, if somebody would invite him to come over for food or just to call him over, he would say شرط عليه أن يوسأ له مقدار مسورة. He says, look, when I come, you have to have a pillow next to me. So I'm going to sit in one place and just put a pillow or like a little desk next to me. Okay? And يدأ فيها كتابا ويقرأ. That when I come to eat, I come for food, put a table next to me. You can serve me food if you want. I'll eat in your food because I'm not going to reject you. You're a Muslim brother, give me da'wah. I won't say no. But I put it next to me, or else you guys are eating and think I'm not interested in your conversations, I'll read this book. So you don't have to do that when you go da'wah. You just go to da'wah normally and eat the food. But what we're saying here is that the underlying principle. What's the underlying principle? The underlying principle is what? That we should have attachment with our books. We should have attachment with ilm. So it's not just about madrasa, it's not just about the 2 hours of study. We should develop slowly, more and more, an attachment to books, attachment to ilm. That there should always be number of things you're studying. And there should always be like something in your mind that's like pending, that I need to figure this out. Not even one thing, like 10 things that, I just figured these things, I need to read these things. You should almost be overwhelmed that, the amount of stuff that I need to do. So have a book, start off from small. So make sure, first of all, beginning years, the year 1s and the year 2s, initially, your primary focus is on the Arabic language. Your primary focus. Why? If you get your Arabic language correct, you get it solid, then what will happen? The advanced years will be much easier for you. And you can actually read on your own proper books, Arabic books. If you divert your time in the beginning years trying to read all the other stuff, sometimes that's a big problem. Some people, yes, it is very important. You have a lot of zawq and zeal and enthusiasm to look about tafsir and to look at fiqh and to look at hadith and all that's very good. But in the beginning years, if you divert your attention from getting your foundation solid, what's going to happen? You might learn a few fiqh masail, but then you will never be able to read the Arabic books in Arabic because your Arabic was left weak. So focus on your main books. And when you get the 3rd, 4th year onwards, then you should then expand. Don't just say, well, okay, we're doing Durusul Balagha, so I got Durusul Balagha, fine. Like, say, well, if possible, what are the shuruh, what are the commentaries of Durusul Balagha? What are the resources available? What other books can I look at? Which Quranic tafasir have balagha inside of it? How can I look for these? When I'm reading Quran, I should be able to apply these principles. If you're doing hadith, then you should look deeper. You have Riyadh al-Salihin. Okay, I can read Riyadh al-Salihin, I understand it. I make the notes, but what are the shuru of Riyadh al-Salihin? Can I look at these shuru? You don't have to even buy them. In our time, you have to buy all these. Now you can get PDFs. You can download it. You can read them. So you should have attachment to this. You should look and you should create a knowledge. When you see different shuru, any book you're doing. Again, in the beginning years, you focus on your main books. Get that solid. Read it over and over again. Read multiple books in Arabic to get your Arabic good. As you get to a higher level, start doing the fiqh. So then, take advice from your teachers. And what books can help me increase? So a very great, a real student will have a deep attachment to books. And there's nothing better than reading and nothing better than studying. This will increase your knowledge so much, and it's never ending. If you've actually said, well, I've studied it, so I'm not interested in science anymore. You don't really understood the science. Whichever science is, whether you like fiqh, whether you like hadith, whether you like tafsir, whether you like nahwa, whether you like balagha, whether you like sarf, whether you like aqidah, is each one of these sciences what do you call it? A quicksand. You just go into it and realize you just so much in that science. You realize I can never encompass this. This is too much. At least I can get enough to really just touch the tip of the iceberg. You understand? But you have to start creating a zeal, a connection with these books. Yes. So you have to create. This is the only way you get real knowledge. Knowledge. If you just study a few years and then you just study the books, the 10 books or 20 books, or 30 books that you're doing, that's not knowledge. And if you just do that and then that's it, you don't do anything after that, you're not nothing. That's nothing. That's like You can't even call yourself a scholar. You can't even call yourself a student. Forget a scholar. Yes? If you continually study and you go depth, then maybe if you're lucky, you can classify yourself as a real student. Being an alim and being a scholar is a very big thing. But at least maybe if you really indulge yourself and you engage yourself in studying properly, and get obsessed with that, then maybe we can give you the title of being a proper student. Yes, so that you have to. So this is again examples, like he would non-stop study. So you have to have that zeal and passion. Again, you don't have to start doing it like all at one go, but one is you build up slowly. You start studying more and more, bit by bit, every week, every month, every year. Make sure at the beginning year, beginning years, the main thing is get your foundation ready, get your foundation solid. For the first 2 years and a bit of the third year. And from third year is a big mixture of both studying and foundation. If you get those solid, you can read, the whole library is there for you. And then you have to then attach yourself. You have to become familiar with books. Every time you see a new book, you say, well, what science is this one? What is it about? You see a reference to a book, you say, well, what is this book about? Is it worth getting? Is this something that is worth reading? You understand? Tafsir, which is the best tafsir should I start reading? I start trying doing everything. Sometimes people start reading, I don't understand anything, but let me just try reading it. And that's how it starts off. There's no one day where you say, well, today officially you can read an Arabic book. It doesn't work like that. You just have to start reading and say, well, half these things I didn't understand, but it kind of got 2-3 words there. And you keep on reading more and more, you get more and more familiar with it. It's a process, it takes long. And then time will come when you can just read it. Again, it's best to take advice, because no point you wasting your time doing something that's inferior. Those who have already crossed the path, maybe some of your teachers, maybe some people who have already studied before, they can help you, which is the better books to read, what is your level. But you have to then yourself create inside of you a zeal for knowledge and become aware of the books, become aware of the sciences and how you can study more. Then maybe you can become a student. Become an alim is almost impossible. Yes? Knowledge is too much. If you think you know, then you don't know. The one who thinks he knows, there's 2 types of jahl. Jahlun basit and jahl murakkab. So jahl means ignorance. So jahlun basit is when you know, but you know you don't know. So for example, yes? And jahl murakkab is you don't know, but you don't know you don't know. That's the worst. So if you don't know, say I don't know tafsir. Okay, I don't know tafsir. You study one book of tafsir and you think, oh, I know tafsir, but you still don't know anything. That's called jahl murakkab. You just think, oh, that's the worst. You're ignorant, but you think you don't know you're ignorant. So when you study one book, you become, so now we're on jahl basit, we don't know anything. When we start studying, then don't become jahl murakkab. Don't think, oh, I know everything now. Think, oh, I study one book in Nahw, so I know Nahw. I did one book in Sarf, I know Sarf. I did one tafsir book, I know tafsir. I did one book in Balagha, I know Balagha. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. This is basically like you're passing by this, you have like a massive mall. All it is that you know where the mall is. Those shopping centers. So all it is when you study one book in Balagha, you know, okay, this shopping mall is here. I know where to find the Balagha shopping mall. That's all you've done. You haven't entered the shopping mall yet. And then within that, there's shops upon shops. And so when you actually start studying, you're like, wow, there's hundreds and hundreds of books and different things and different opinions and the depth of it. But you can only get this when you, number one, you get your foundation correct. And number two, then, you attach yourself to knowledge. You understand? And number three is that you don't ever think you know anything. If you think that, then any of these things are not, if you don't make the foundation solid, you're going to have a horrible time afterwards, or you just give up because I can't understand it, I don't. And number two, if you don't attach yourself to books, you just study the 5 books a year, so maybe 20, 30, 40 books, and you think, oh, that's it, I've studied. And so then you won't study more. And if you think, I know everything, then you won't study as well. So you have to make your foundation solid, keep attachment to books, keep attachment towards ilm, and continually understand and remember that you don't know anything, and you need to keep working harder to get more knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to back upon this. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.